Chapter 5, TheYouTubeGuy.com, How ChadHurley.com did what I, EricSkaggs.com, told him to do. This is going to be a bit difficult because after I told Chad Hurley what to do to get my YouTube.com idea to work in 1999 during that fateful 2.5 hour conversation, I didn't even find out his last name until 2011 when I finally Googled Chad IUP YouTube and saw his picture. I thought the YouTube website was a big coincidence. How could I have ever imagined the millionaire founder of YouTube was the same dumb art major kid on a track scholarship at IUP, a crappy university, was the same guy that promised me 1% in exchange for the idea over 10 years ago? As I did my research, I found out Chad Hurley did exactly what I told him to do. He didn't deviate from what I told him to do for the next 12 years until I finally got a letter from his attorneys essentially telling me he would not give me the 1% he promised me for the YouTube idea I gave him. If he was smart, he would have fulfilled the promise he made to me in exchange for an ironclad non-disclosure agreement. I would have helped him hide the origins of the YouTube idea, my idea, to protect his stellar reputation, and we could have worked together on Mixbit and Buckget.com. Instead, here I am telling all his dirty secrets. The three big secrets have the potential to destroy him and his reputation. His lawyers pointed out these three big secrets quite nicely. The first big secret is the plausible backstory. That's a story I told Chad to tell people about how he came up with the idea. I told him to tell everyone he and some friends were at a party taking videos with camcorders, and if the technology was available, which it was, I guess, cell phones, and they couldn't share the videos with each other, so they created a website called YouTube.com to share their videos with each other. Steve Chen and Javed Karim both said Chad was lying about this. But when I told his lawyers what really happened, they attacked me. I wasn't the only one to say Chad was lying. The two men that had the most to lose from the lie also said Chad was lying. The second deception is the plan to meet the partner up with his co-founders, Steve Chen and Javed Karim, at the internet company he could get a job at that ended up being PayPal.com. This destroys the relationship he has with Steve Chen and Javed Karim and his friends and co-workers that were part of the plan at PayPal. The third secret would destroy his family. The secret that him marrying and getting Kathy Clark pregnant, not necessarily in that order. Now his marriage to his wife and the conception of his children looked like nothing but a part of the plan I laid out for Chad. If and when Kathy and her billionaire father Jim Clark find out they were nothing more than part of the plan I laid out for Chad Hurley in 1999 outside the Eberly College of Business Computer Lab at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, his reputation will be permanently destroyed. When Chad and I parted ways outside Eberly College of Business at IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, Chad jumped in his borrowed yellow Jeep Cherokee and went straight to the local grocery store, Giant Eagle. He bought the Wired magazine and the Forbes List of the Richest People magazine, went to the track house, gathered the last of his things from the track cross-country house, and headed back to Birdsboro, Pennsylvania. When he got to his parents' house, he did what I told him to do and made two lists, a list of the internet companies he would redesign the logos for and a list of the richest internet billionaires. He went to his computer and started working on logos and sent them out to all the companies. He got a response from PayPal, who offered him a job at PayPal. He accepted the job as a graphic designer for PayPal and headed to PayPal headquarters in California. When he got there, he befriended the smartest guys in the room, Steve Chen and Javed Karim, the Asian guy and Indian guy. He also found out Jim Clark, the billionaire founder of Silicon Graphics, had a single daughter named Kathy Clark. He found out she was going to a birthday party, so he decided to crash it. He didn't know anyone at the party, but he was determined to meet Kathy. He went to the party and started buying Kathy drinks. He drove her home, yada yada, and 9 months later they had their first child. When Kathy found out she was pregnant, I'm assuming Chad and Kathy got married. PayPal got bought by eBay, and Chad got a nice amount of cash from his stock options and used it and his connections through his billionaire heiress wife's father, Jim Clark, to find venture capital at Sequoia Capital. The domain name YouTube.com was registered by Chad in 2004, although some say 2005. The site went live on Valentine's Day 2005. YouTube grew quickly, like I said. I knew about YouTube, but I thought it was a big coincidence. Chad, Steve, and to a lesser degree, Javed, sold YouTube to, as I called it, a company with more money than brains, Google, at the end of 2006, and the paperwork was filed at the beginning of 2007. YouTube was sold for $1.65 billion to Google. The only really big stipulation is that Chad had to stay on as the CEO of YouTube, a division of Google, for 3 or 4 years. Google wanted Chad to stay on as CEO because he was the brilliant inventor of YouTube. They had no idea Chad was lying to them to get an inflated price for YouTube.com, and Chad was paid $400,000 a year to be CEO of YouTube for a few years. Chad lied to Google to get a CEO position and probably an extra $1 billion for YouTube. I suggested to Chad's attorney that Google got screwed too, and maybe Google should be on the same side as me. But his attorney said Chad and Google were so in bed with one another that Google would never be on anyone's side but his.